Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. Today I'm going to be creating some French country Easter decorations. Today I'm going to be using these plastic egg ornaments that I got from Spotlight Australia, but you can find these on Amazon and a lot of other crafting websites. I'm going to begin by using some Gorilla Super Glue gel around the inside part of the egg there where the two sections join. I'm going to be doing two egg ornaments today, so I am going to repeat this process twice. I'm also using a wet wipe to wipe off any excess glue from around the outside. When the glue was dry, I took out Paint Couture's 2-in-1 primer in white. I'm applying that on my surface with a makeup sponge. I really prefer this method as opposed to using a brush. I find that it gives me more of an eggshell type finish, and I'm going to go over the entire piece. I did have to work in sections because obviously the shape is a little bit tricky. I would get wet paint on my hands, and I'm going to apply 2 coats. I then took out Paint Couture's Farmhouse linen, and I'm going to apply my paint with a makeup sponge again, and I ended up doing 3 coats to get the coverage that I wanted. And so all of these steps are repeated for both of the Easter decorations in today's video. When that was dry, I took out IOD's new Spring Melody Paint Inlay. I really love these little crests or emblems, whatever you want to call them, with the sweet little bunnies in them. And I really love this sort of greeny blue tone rabbit design. So I'm going to lay down another coat. So this is the 4th coat of the Farmhouse linen chalk paint, because the paint inlay needs to be added to wet paint. I've misted the inlay with water, and now I'm going to position the design somewhat in the center of the egg best I can, and then I'm going to begin to start pressing it down. Now I already knew as I was doing this that it wasn't going to be a perfect transfer of the image because of the shape, so I let it dry completely. I then came in with my water mister, and I then started to pull that paint inlay away. As I was pulling this away, I could definitely see where all of those creases were, and I was a little bit disappointed, but I ended up mixing some of Paint Couture's Autumn Sage with Abundance mineral paint, and I mixed those together to get a similar color to the paint inlay design. And here I'm going in and I'm touching up the areas and filling in the gaps where my paper creased. Now, to minimize this when you're doing the paint inlay, you could add some little sort of dart style cuts to your paint inlay, but I still feel like you would get a bit of a broken design doing it that way anyway. So if you are going to give this a go and you want to use paint inlays, if you mix up a similar color, you can go in and you can touch up any of those areas that didn't quite get the look that you wanted. I'm dabbing in some of that mix of that paint over the top of the little rabbit. He sadly wasn't as defined as I would have liked. And that did end up affecting my whole design, but I still feel like he's very lovely. There's just a bit more of a subdued little rabbit in the center there. Once I'd finished touching up some of the details on the rabbit, I then went in and started adding a little bit more definition to some of the leaves, just going around the edges of some of those. And then when that was completely dry, I sealed the entire image there with Paint Couture's Extreme Guard in Satin. Definitely going with a light hand here so that you don't get any smearing. I let that dry and then took out IOD's Dainty Flourishes mold. I've already dusted the designs that I want to use with cornstarch, and now I'm working some dust air dry clay into those sort of more intricate swirls there. I'm going to be making one of each of those, flexing the mold, flipping it over. Gravity's definitely a big help here. And I'm of course going to cast the mirror image sort of style design of the other one as well. I'm then going to be using my Sealy's Quickset wood glue on the back of my clay castings, and I'm going to be adding these around the outside of my egg piece there. And I am going to be manipulating this shape a little bit to suit my design, and that's the perfect part about using clay, is that you can bend it and manipulate it. And then I'm going to glue the other one on the other side, and whatever I do on one side I'm going to obviously repeat on the other. So you can see I'm really curving that around, really manipulating those castings until they work for my project. Next, I'm going to be casting the larger bow from this mold here that I got from Amazon. I really love the delicate nature of this design, and I think it will definitely suit my project. So I'm just really working that clay in, pushing that excess out, flexing it, and then flipping it over to release my casting. I'm then going to attach the bow to the top of my project using my Sealy's Quickset wood glue. Next, I'm going to do a partial casting from the Dainty Flourishes mold. I just really like this sort of fleur-de-lis style design here that's part of this other section. And then I'm going to add some glue to the back of that and position that down the bottom. I then also decided to add another one of those bows that we have on the front. So I'm going to add that to the back part of the egg decoration. I let those dry for a few hours, and then I cut out this very sweet little rose that's also from the Spring Melody paint inlay, repeating the same process as before, applying another coat of that Farmhouse linen to the center part of my egg decoration there, and then I'm going to add the rose paint inlay. I did cut around pretty close to that rose design so that I didn't have as many sort of gaps and folds in this image as I did for the front. So I'm just pressing that down after I've used my water mister. And then I also came in with a wet wipe to apply a little bit more moisture and pressure. I let that dry completely, and then I misted it again so that we can allow that to release, and I'm going to gently start pulling that back. Now I can get more uses out of these as long as I put them to the side and look after them. It'll just be a little bit more faded the second and even possibly third time around. Once that paint inlay was dry, I sealed that as well with Paint Couture's Extreme Guard in Satin. Next, I decided I wanted to bring a bit more color to the front part of the egg ornament. So I'm going to go in and cut out this rose trim piece, but I'm going to actually cut them into individual sections. I really like the idea of these roses sort of peeking up from the bottom and from the side. So I am actually going to go in with Paint Couture's Extreme Guard in Satin so that I don't obscure that bunny design in the center. And I'm going to be putting my paint inlay into that clear coat. So I'm going to press that down. Just making sure I've got really good contact there, really working it in close to those molds. I'm then going to use my mister, of course, and I'm also going to add another one of those roses on the left-hand side as well, just repeating that same process. I added some moisture with a wet wipe, and then once that was dry, I came in with some more water and then started to pull it away. Now, the paint inlay didn't transfer the image perfectly, but today is going to be a really great video for you if that has happened to you before, because I'm going to show you how I fixed that. First though, I'm going to add some more roses down the bottom. I really wanted a little bit more of that color there. I actually ended up tearing the paint inlay a little bit just to help it fit in that bottom section a little bit better. I'm going to add another one of those floral designs on the left hand side as well, so sort of having the mirror image on each side, really trying to keep a quite balanced design. At this point, I decided I wanted to see if I could fix that paint inlay that didn't transfer properly. I added some more clear coat in the section that didn't stick there. I then used the same paint inlay that I used previous, and here I'm going to dampen those paint inlays again that I've allowed to dry, and I'm going to start peeling away the one that I tried to fix. And as you can see, I was able to get more of that paint inlay down the second time around. And down the bottom here, I didn't quite get as much of the paint inlay to work as I wanted. So again, this is going to show you that you can go back in. I used a little bit more clear coat. I'm going to use the same paint inlay that I just removed, and I'm going to add that over the top. And I am going to be able to get a better image there. You can see that more of that transferred over. So you can fix it if you do not get the desired transfer of that paint inlay image. If you just go back in again with a little bit more clear coat, and you can fix it up. I let the paint inlays dry, and then I came in with some more satin clear coat to seal them all in. Next, I took out Pentart's Fine Line Crackle Step 1, and I'm going to be applying that over the top of my egg. So step 1 is this white mixture here, and the surface underneath will appear cloudy while it's still wet, and once it's dry it will become clear again. And then I came in with Paint Couture's Fine Line Crackle step 2, and I'm going over the top of my dry step 1. And this really is only my second time using the Fine Line Crackle, but I really do love it. I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be repeating the same process for the back side of the egg as well. I let that dry completely, and then I came in with Pentart's Antique Paste in the color Umber, and I'm going to be applying that with a paper towel. I've got one that I'm using to apply it, and then I have another one there for me to wipe off that excess. Now I will say that as much as I love the crackle and I love how it looks over the top of the roses, I was a little bit sad at how it it further blurred the image of the rabbit, I noticed. So if I had to had the chance to do it over again, I probably wouldn't have put as much crackle over the top of the rabbit section, but I still think it's going to turn out beautiful. It's just one of those things where I felt like maybe I had a little bit too much going on this project. But let me know in the comments if you agree once you see the finished product. I definitely love how it looks over the top of this rose. I think that it looks really beautifully, even a little bit more shabby chic really this side as well. So as you can see, I'm working that paste into those cracks and then using another paper towel to wipe back the excess. And then I came in with Paint Couture's Van Dyke Brown Antiquing Glaze, and I'm going to use that to go over the top of my clay casting. Now you do want to use a solvent-based product over the top of the Fine Line Crackle. It's definitely recommended by Pentart to do that, but on my castings, I definitely wanted to use my water-based products. I definitely do prefer to use water-based where I can, and I'm really just working that glaze into all of the details of the castings and then pulling it back. My clay castings are not sealed, so that's why you're seeing me work in sections so that I'm able to wipe back as much or as little as I want. When the glaze was dry, I came in with Paint Couture's Bronze Luxe Metallic, and I'm going to begin by adding it to the scroll details on the sides. I really do love this bronze. It's definitely one of my go-tos. If, however, this color wasn't to your taste, obviously you could come in with a different color. Some pastels might be nice as well to tie in with the designs that we have on the front and back there. But I really do love the combination of an antiqued look with bronze metallic. I think it's just quite a classic look. Once I finished adding the bronze, I took out Paint Couture's Ballet Slipper, and I'm going to be going over the top of the bow castings on the top of the egg ornament there. And I am brushing that on, but I'm still allowing some of that Van Dyke Brown to show through, so it will look a little bit more sort of distressed by doing that. And I only ended up doing one coat of this ballet slipper on both of the bows. To finish off my egg decoration, I'm going to be using this lovely sort of beaded ribbon that I picked up at the thrift store. It was a really good deal actually. I got that whole roll there for only $8, and I'm going to thread that through and tie a knot. And here's a look at our first Easter decoration. I think that this turned out really sweet. I am loving those beautiful IOD paint inlays. Let me know what you think of today's project in the comments. For my second Easter decoration, I'm going to be using the Blossom Bunnies Transfer by Redesign, and I'm going to be cutting out this smaller little bunny here. I think it would be perfect as a centerpiece on my egg ornament. You can see I've already primed it and painted it with that Farmhouse linen, and I'm going to begin by adding it. Now, obviously this is a curved surface, so I did have to work in sections, and I did end up getting a couple of creases in my transfer. That's really pretty much unavoidable, but given the look that I'm going to be going for a little bit later on, the creases really were not obvious. So I'm just going to pick up an edge as I'm rubbing and continue to do that until I have that entire sweet little bunny transferred to my surface. I thought I was going to leave it here with the transfers, so I did go in and seal my little bunny with 2 coats of Paint Couture's Extreme Guard in Satin, but then I decided to take out the Bunny Trails transfer, and this particular transfer has a lot of sweet little butterflies in it, so I am going to be transferring this sweet little one. So it sort of looks like the bunny is looking up at the butterfly. I thought it was a sweet touch. So just like before, I am going to start rubbing that transfer down until it is transferred. When that was done, I sealed the little butterfly with some top coat as well. Next, I took out Redesign's Floral Chain Mould, and I'm going to be doing some partial castings here. I really love the scale and detail of the florals on this particular design, so I'm going to partially cast that one, and then I'm going to do another partial cast of this other design here. I'm going to have these florals wrapping around the egg. I definitely want this to have a little bit of like a whimsical floral feel to it. So I've just added my wood glue to the back of my castings, and I'm going to add those to the edge there and sort of wrap them around. And I love how they connect quite seamlessly. I'm also going to repeat the same process on the other side, so adding the same molds on each side so that it forms sort of like a little floral ring around the bunny in the center there. Next, I took out Redesign's Salon de la Paix mold, and I'm going to cast this small little bow from that mold design, and then I'm going to flex it and flip it over. I love the delicate look of this, and I think it definitely goes beautifully with the floral chain molds that I've already added. One of the little ribbon ends did break off there, but I am able to very easily glue that back in place. Next, I took out Redesign's Fragrant Roses mold, and I'm going to be dusting some of these smaller rose designs with cornstarch, and then I'm going to start working my dust air dry clay into those. I wasn't 100% sure how I was going to be configuring these on my project, but I really again loved the scale, and I really felt like these tied in with the floral chain mold that I added around the outside. So I'm also going to cast a couple of leaves as well. And again, the cornstarch definitely helps to get that clay out. Next, I added glue to the back of the leaves first because I want these to be behind the rose design. So I'm just going to have them on the bottom there. So adding those 2 leaves, and then I'm going to glue a single rose in the center, layering over the top of those leaves. At first I thought I was going to do more, but I felt like this was enough of a sweet little statement, not too overpowering or distracting from that little bunny. And then I decided to add the larger of the rose, have that sort of creeping down from the top there, and I added another 2 of those leaves as well. I let my castings dry for several hours, and then I decided I wanted to add some butterflies from the Bunny Trails transfer to the back. I felt like this tied in with the front, and the back of the decoration was just feeling a little bit too plain, so I decided that these sweet little pastel butterflies would be the perfect subtle touch. So I'm just transferring those down, just rubbing those designs down. I'm then going to position another butterfly to the bottom right of the one that we just added. Now I want to use Fine Line Crackle shortly, so I'm going to go in with 2 coats of Paint Couture's Extreme Guard in Satin over the top of all my transfers to protect them, because you are more likely to get cracking if you don't do this. When that was dry, I took out the Pentart Fine Line Crackle, and I'm going to apply step 1 over the top. Remember, I've already sealed my transfers, and I'm just going to apply one even coat of that step 1. Once that step 1 is completely dry, I then came in with Pentart's step 2, and again just applying it over the top of step 1 and making sure that I don't have too much pooling of this product. The first time that I used it in a previous video, I did find that I got sort of brown discoloration in certain spots, so I'm very sure not to go over the top and use too much of that product. And as you can see, I'm also going to repeat the same process on the other side of my egg decoration as well. When that was dry, I took out Pentart's Antiquing Paste in Umber, just like I did for my first egg decoration. I'm applying that paste, really working it into all of those beautiful fine line crackle cracks, and then using a clean paper towel to wipe back the excess. Now, full disclosure guys, even though I sealed my transfer with 2 coats of sealer, I did get a tiny little bit of cracking of the transfer itself. I didn't get any puckering or anything like that, but I just wanted to be open with that did happen, and I think in future I will be doing 3 coats just to make sure that I have everything really evenly covered and protected. Just like before, I'm going to be using Paint Couture's Van Dyke Brown Antiquing Glaze over the top of my clay castings. As I said previously, I do prefer to use a water-based product when I am dealing with molds, and also glazes. I just really like how the glaze sits down into all of those details and gives beautiful definition. This is definitely one of my favorite ways to paint my castings, is to get that depth first with the glaze and then bring in color over the top. When that glaze was dry, I took out Paint Couture's Ballet Slipper Luxe Metallic, and I'm going to be using that to go over the top of all of those beautiful little roses. As you can still see that beautiful glaze sitting down in all of the details of the roses there, but then we're bringing in that beautiful pale pink. I then took out Paint Couture's Autumn Sage Chalk Paint, and I am going to be adding that over the top of all of the greenery. Again, I'm not going for full coverage. I still want to be able to see that beautiful glaze in those low points. If I inspire you to try any of the Redesign with Prima products or Paint Couture products, I would really appreciate it if you would use my affiliate links. I will put those in the description below. I'll just get a little thank you in return. Next, I took out Paint Couture's Bronze Luxe Metallic, and I'm going to be adding that over the top of that beautiful, delicate little bow. When that was dry, I took out Paint Couture's Oyster Pearl Luxe Metallic, and I'm almost dry brushing that over the top of all of the painted color details. I won't be going over the top of the bronze bow, but I'm really loving how this is now grabbing the high points. We've got the glaze in the low points, and now we've got this beautiful white metallic catching those high points and also giving it a bit of a lighter touch around the edge as well. To finish off my Easter decoration, I'm going to add this ruffled edge green ribbon that I got from Amazon to the top and tie a knot. And here's a look at our finished second ornament. I think this turned out so sweet. The redesign transfers are absolutely adorable. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and that it's inspired you to get creating some Easter decor for your own home. Let me know if you had a favorite project from today. If you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, comment, and share it out. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. You can find most of the products used today on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. Thanks for watching.